Sure. Well, some happy news. The city demolished another blighted building on South J Street here a week or so ago. It was pretty yucky. In fact, it took the crew all about 2 minutes for that building to come down. 2 minutes. It took them longer to scrape it up than it did for them to knock it down. But that was exciting. It's always exciting to see another blighted property bite the dust, so to speak, and hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of those as our budget allows. Also, I spoke with a couple of residents recently about the agenda availability as far as the backup material is concerned. And I think I sent an email to the city manager regarding that. Some folks would like to have the full backup material, and maybe put on a distribution list for that purpose. And I think I saw an email back. I think that basically these files are so large that they're almost impossible to email.
That's absolutely correct. That is just the backup for this evening is 500 pages. It's anywhere from 500 to 800 pages. What I do keep though is an agenda distribution list that as soon as the agenda and the backup material is available on site, on the website, that goes out to the individuals on the distribution list, and I inform them that the backup material is now available online for them. But it's totally impossible to send something of that magnitude.
Sure. So anybody out there that would like to be on the email distribution list, I guess they would just contact your office.
That is correct. We'd be happy to put them on our distribution list.
And then you'll get that information the same time the electeds get theirs. Is that correct?
The elected officials come first, and then they immediately receive an agenda, yes.
Okay. Agenda? Okay.
They're 10 seconds behind the elected officials.
I really couldn't pass that up. Earth Day, as we all know, was recent last Saturday, I guess, or 2 Saturdays ago. And unfortunately, I had a very, very hectic schedule that day. I did get there very late in the day and got to listen to some music and some dancing that was going on there. But I'm hearing through the grapevine that was probably the best attended, most well-attended event to date. So congratulations and kudos to all that put that together. Thank you again for another fine event here in the city of Lakewood. Also, Derby Day was this past Saturday at South Shore. The neighborhood associations are actually Bryant Park. Make sure you clear on that. Bryant Park has their annual Derby Day event, and that was also well attended. And I had the luck, if you will, sitting next to somebody who actually picked the jockey and the winning horse. He got the slips or whatever, so I think he made like $4 or something. It was a big day for them. So that was a good time. Neighborhood meetings, you know, I go to as many neighborhood association meetings as I possibly can get in. Unfortunately, there's some neighborhood meetings that conflict with our commission meetings or whatnot. But from time to time, there'll be a request that I pass along to the city manager for a certain concern or whatnot. And this one, I'm not sure of the city manager, but this just came up in the last 24 hours. And that is, where do we stand, if you will, on benches as far as if somebody wanted to buy a bench or dedicate a bench to someone and maybe put it in Bryant Park or Snook Islands or someplace like that. Do we have a program in place to do something like that? I mean, obviously.
We don't stand on benches.
If you guys could get together on that.
Yeah, we don't have a possibility. We can talk to you
Talk
about
about that.
We haven't done that in a while.
All right, and two more things, and this is something I want to throw out for everybody to kind of get excited about. I'm going to be proposing to the city manager that we get with the sheriff's office and look at their COP program and see if we can come up with a program that actually, what's the word I'm looking for, creates a real heavy synergy with the neighborhood associations directly. Maybe each neighborhood association, if they want to participate in this program, could find 3 or 4 people that would be willing to take the training, be part of the COP program. And if the sheriff's office has the resources and the staffing or the training availability in the vehicles, maybe that's something we could do to have a greater presence on the street. I know we have a huge presence of deputies on the street at any one time, but it doesn't help to have a few more green and white cars rolling around there. And the last issue, speaking of sheriff's office, I know there was a special effort made to put a foot deputy on what? How do you say that?
Street patrol.
A beat patrolman, a beat cop.
Downtown beat cop.
Downtown. And I know that I think originally it was supposed to be for a specified period of time. I don't want to make sure that we don't overlook that in the budget process going forward, because there's been a lot of positive feedback from the downtown merchants.
Yeah, that's the one.
And Ed's done a phenomenal job, and I think we'd like to see him stay on, and we might have to get him another new pair of shoes, but everybody is really thrilled with the level of service that they're receiving from that effort. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McBoyd.
Thank you. I think the things that well, I've got two things. One is, falls a little bit off of Commissioner Maxwell's interest in our community policing, PBSO. I think everybody in this room probably follows some of the activities around the country over the last year or two, and is aware that there is a lot of concern around the country about the approaches that are used in policing and the results of that and some of the policies. I read a very interesting article this morning talking about the origin of the training that's done on use of deadly force and how some of that came about. I think fortunately the things that we've seen and heard about in Ferguson, in Staten Island, in Baltimore, we seem to be pretty spared from here in Lake Worth. I think we're in pretty good shape. But I do think that we want to be aware of these discussions that are happening at a national level. There are a number of police chiefs in various parts of the country that are saying maybe we need to step back, maybe we're not, maybe our way of training isn't quite the optimal, maybe there's some things we can do a little differently. So that's something that I'm following, and it's an ongoing discussion that Cap Silva and I have to try and improve as well as possible. Fortunately, I think we do pretty well here, but I think it's always good to be learning from other parts of the country. And my other comment is very interesting study that I just read about yesterday that looks at, it's a long-term study. It was done, 20 or 30 years ago. At that time, they didn't have enough data. They've come back to it. Harvard study that looked at neighborhoods and upward mobility out of poverty, and found a fascinating graph they included with it, that it says that if you can move your family out of a bad neighborhood into a better neighborhood, every year earlier that you do that, your kids quantitatively have a better chance of moving up out of poverty. And it's very strong data that if you move at age 10, you get this benefit. If you move at age 15, you drop 5 notches down. It's fascinating. It's, for a guy who likes data, it's pretty interesting to see that strong data. But there were some interesting comments that came out of it. We obviously, as a city and as commissioners who care about our community, we don't want to say, hey, it's bad here, you need to move out and go find a better place. No. And people doing this study recognized that one approach is to encourage people to move, or let them choose to move that if they can. The other approach is to recognize that neighborhoods matter, and some of the quotes that came out of that, compelling evidence that neighborhoods matter in a really big way. That's from a Stanford director of an institute there. Particular environment of a city really does seem to matter to its residents in a quantifiable sort of way. And then a comment from the U.S. Housing Secretary who says, it's not an option for everybody to simply move. So we can't walk away from neighborhoods. And since I'm somewhat early in my term, I would kind of like that. That's been an interest of mine for a while. I think it's an interest of the mayors also. I would like us to really focus on what are ways that we can change our neighborhoods, particularly the more at-risk ones, in ways that people who continue to live at them, those kids growing up in them, will do better. And so that's one of my full
Sean Russo.
Carrying on with the downtown beat cop presence, Ed does a phenomenal job. I've talked to Captain Silva, he will continue to stay in the downtown corridor. He also works with the Homeless Coalition. Last month we were able to take, he was able to take 2 people off the street and put them into a home situation, and 1 person went to rehab. So that's working on a couple different levels. So we thank PBSO and Captain Silva for moving that forward. Events coming up, The Great Give. We've got a couple different city people in that. The library is participating in it, also the Lakewood Playhouse. Earth Day, Commissioner Maxwell, Vice Mayor Maxwell mentioned, huge success, one of our biggest events. I'm very happy to be the host again this year, and it's a fundraiser for Kiwanis, for the children of Kiwanis. This year, I was happy to give them $1,130 towards their programs. And again, huge success. Thank you for all the volunteers and everybody that participated. We have another big event coming up May 24th from 12 to 5 downtown next to Paws on the Avenue on L Street, which is a huge adoption event. All the different groups will be out, and it's a good chance for you to come out and look at the dogs and the cats that need forever homes. Also, we still have May 26th through the 30th is the prep week for your pre-hurricane. You can put as much stuff out on the curb as you can get out there. And then, I'm sorry? Amnesty Week, yes, you're vegetarian. Vegetarian.
Easy for you.
Yes.
You can put as many vegetarians as you know.
Put your vegetarians on the curb. Thursday, May 21st, from 5 to 8:30 is the Hurricane Be Prepared over at the Beach Club. Yes.
The green bin.
And then the CRA and the city, we're working to put together 4th of July event. Huge event again this year. We're looking for volunteers, so anybody that wants to come out and participate.
Awesome, thank you. Commissioner Meyer?
Thank you, good evening. As you can hear, we had a very busy social calendar these past 2 weeks. Sacred Heart got a new library, the Schmelk Library. I attended the dedication. We had the opening of the Social House on Lucerne, a very interesting collaborative business and a beautiful space. I would encourage all of you to check it out. I attended the Crime Walk on May 3rd. That was hosted by a resident, Tammy Panza. There are future plans to do more of these crime walks. I think it's a great event to participate in. If nothing else, it creates awareness and unity within the community, and it is a way to recognize that we do have a growing residential crime problem here, and we need to start taking steps to address those problems. So thank you, Tammy. It was a great event, and I look forward to more of them. Commissioner Amoroso mentioned the Homeless Coalition. Actually, on Friday the 24th, the Homeless Coalition hosted their 4 times annual event called Project Homeless Connect. I actually attended and participated in this event, and for those of you that don't know, I used to work for the Homeless Coalition as an AmeriCorps volunteer. Recently, I've had many people ask what can be done about issues of homelessness here in Lake Worth, particularly in the Cultural Plaza. Some of these events that we've mentioned, Earth Day, also a few weeks ago the Vegan Chili Cookout, all happened in the Cultural Plaza. It really is an event center for the community, but most people would point out that in times that we are not having events in the Cultural Plaza, that there are homeless people that live in the plaza. The Homeless Coalition is the primary fundraiser for a center called the Philip Lewis Center, named for former Senate President Philip Lewis, who was very active on the issue of homelessness. And essentially what they do is take people who are willing to take the first steps to end their homelessness, and they provide an umbrella of available county services to these individuals. So the issue of homelessness is a difficult one to address. It's not like graffiti that can be painted over or a pothole that can be filled. These are human lives that we're talking about. So we can't just sweep the problem away, but what we can do is support, volunteer for, donate to organizations like the Homeless Coalition. This is a county resource, so it is available to all municipalities in the county, including Lake Worth. And this is one way that we can all get together and try to address the issue of homelessness. And as I mentioned, this is a 4 times annual event, so it will, has been here in Lake Worth in the past. I've hosted the event, and it will return here. So I would encourage you to support that event when it does come to town. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our paths crossed, Commissioner Meyer and I, in the last couple of weeks. The Social House was there, wish them all the best. Beautiful, beautiful location. Sacred Heart Library, it's gonna be a wonderful new addition for our community. Do a great job there. Crime Walk, Tammy, incredible. That's such a great experience, and I heard there's already a video out from that experience. So looking forward to that. Hopefully you can share that within the community. But I think it's really important for people to know that, you know, these are our neighborhoods, our streets. You know, we're really doing a lot citywide to go after the blight, you know, all the codes that we created and stuff so that we could go on premise and tear houses down and do all kinds of things. Well, when it comes to crime, even though statistically for our city, crime is down in certain areas, we are noticing an uptick of the crimes, the break-ins, the garages left open and the screen patio doors and cars left open and then also, you know, we're always gonna have serious crimes, we're not alone, we're sheltered from that. So letting people know, when you go through a thing like having, you know, being one of the hardest hit in the county when the recession happened, you know, a lot of things happen here and we've been fighting our way back and we have to fight for our neighborhoods and fight for our families and fight for our streets and fight and fight and fight. And we together can do that, and that was a beautiful experience. People getting together from all different neighborhoods, and I really appreciate that. I'll be at your next one as well. And hopefully everybody else will come out to those, but we really need to stand up and stand up for our cities and our communities and our families and really let them know to make the call, y'all. I love that phrase, we handed out cards, make the call, y'all. So when you see something suspicious in your neighborhood, you give PBSO a call to know. You can do so anonymously or whatever else too, but we got a chance to meet people in the community as well, so thank you. National Day of Prayer. We have, I'm honored to be hosting again. This time it'll be in the evening, so hopefully more people can attend. It'll be, you know, not a full dinner or anything. We'll have coffee and cake and all kinds of stuff, but 6:30 this Thursday at the casino building. And Earth Day was incredible. It was, in the 4 years now I think I've been here, it was the biggest one ever. The gumbo limbo looks totally cool. I love the bark on that thing. And I got to pick up my own red maple, which I didn't know that they were native plants down here. You always think of a maple tree as being like a north thing, so my husband's already got that one planted in the yard already. NAPC, attended my first NAPC meeting of the President's Council. And I think it's going to be really good. I really appreciated it and enjoyed the meeting, and hopefully can open up better lines of communication between the city and the neighborhoods. And any way in which I can help, I'll be there every step of the way. Anything else? I was invited to be the keynote speaker for ITT Tech. Was that something? And so I want to congratulate all the graduates there. And let me see what else is coming up. Oh, REAP. You've heard before about the neighborhoods associations talking about REAP grants, and that's how they got banners and all kinds of things. Well, there's going to be a ceremony coming up soon that I also have been asked to speak at. And apparently Lake Worth has a lot of applications in for different types of grant opportunities. So I'm very excited about that to see where they all come from. But I think that we probably set a record with the REAP program for how many grants that we have. So hopefully we'll come home with a big score. But I will be there to you know, to hold everyone's hand and hopefully celebrate when we get back. So I'll keep you posted on that. Thank you very much. All right.